And everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to the Hano virtual event. Today's session will be Resources and Services Available at EPCC and the El Paso Community by Christian M. Salas, LMSW, Assistant Professor of Social Work, DV Chair, EPCC Mental Health Committee. This session will be recorded so that you may come back to it later if you need, and so others who may have missed out on today's events will be able to come and watch it. Thank you. So now, at this time, please mute your mics for the best sound experience. Otherwise, the feedback could interfere with information we will be sharing. Without further ado, here's Mr. Salas.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this overcast, rainy, but nice and cool October. I was going to say September. October Friday afternoon. I was just telling the moderators I kind of slid in perfectly right at the same time. At home, talk about services and such. At home, we've been dealing with 2 sick kiddos, and then I think my wife and I caught whatever the kids had, so it's been fun. Anyways, not about me. Again, thank you all for joining us and for, again, making this Tejano virtual event a great success. What are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about who can help and how. At the same time, we're going to be talking about some of the issues that come with, excuse me, identifying what it is that you need, where to go, even the issues that come with that. So before I get started, I always like to give credit where credit is due. And so I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for the awesome staff at Tejano Virtual Events and allowing us the space to talk and talk and talk. But again, we fostered a great relationship with the staff at TBE, and we are elated that this relationship continues and continues to be stronger. As long as we get asked to come back, we will do so very graciously, and with as much information as we can potentially pass on to you all, the audience. And obviously, I would like to thank the hardworking El Paso Community College Mental Health Committee, my fellow peers, comprised of administration, faculty, adjunct faculty, counselors, librarians, in essence, a little bit of everyone from the college. And there's a lot of work that is done behind the scenes, and we'll actually get to some of that here towards the end of this presentation. But a great bunch of people that are doing a great bunch of things to make sure that mental health awareness in students, faculty, and staff is brought up to the importance that it should be at, and creating opportunities for, again, students, faculty, and staff to find resources, kind of, again, going towards the focus and the topic at hand today. So if you've been to any of my presentations before, you've seen that I don't do learning outcomes and all this stuff. I call them my spoiler alerts because, well, you get to know whether or not the presentation is going to be good or bad right from the get-go. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, what might you seek help with, right? What is it that you need help and assistance with? What might keep you from seeking that help? We'll talk about different things and different aspects that in some times or in some places keep individuals from going out and looking for or seeking or even receiving the assistance that they need. And we'll close off with not an extensive, but as close as we can get to a list of resources that is available not only at EPCC, but even here in our own town of El Paso. So let's get started. What might you need help with? Well, that's a very loaded question, right? That's talk about the $1 million question, right? If people ask me, what do you need help with? I'm like, well, where should I start? Can we do a 36-hour day to begin with? 24 is not enough, and 36, well, that's a good start. Let's see how that goes. Finances, right? That's always help. Childcare, that's always help. Anywho, when we start talking about the things that we might need, obviously this is not at all an extensive list, but dealing with the things that myself as a professional, as a mental health professional, and now as a faculty member, both at UTEP and at El Paso Community College, the chair of the Mental Health Committee, I don't want to just focus on mental health, right, and mental illness, but just hear me out. When it comes to mental illness, remember, there is a difference between the two, right? Um, Brief definition or brief distinction between the two. Mental illness is diagnosable. We have our DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Health, the 5th edition. And that tells us exactly what criteria, what symptoms, for how long, how often, all that of how to diagnose a mental illness, a mental disorder. Mental health, in return, is the daily ins and outs, the things that tend to throw a wrench into things. You got cut off in the morning by somebody and it made you get to your class late, and you had a test, and so now you have 5 minutes less to do your test, and that throws your whole day off. Well, it might tick you off, it might upset you, it might do more than that, but let's just put it in these terms. You get over it after lunch, right? You vent to one of your friends, you vent to your spouse, you vent to somebody, and it just goes away, right? You're able to cope with it. You're able to manage it. Perfect. That's mental health. Things that you have the skills, you have the ability, you have what it takes to manage, control, cope with the situation. Mental illness is when mental health issues start to become more than manageable. Now it's been 2 weeks. Now it's been a month since that incident happened, and you're still like, man, that threw my whole time out. I can't believe I got a bad grade, and that just caused me to turn in this late, and so that just throws things off. And then you're not able to cope with that situation. You're not able to advance and pass and go beyond it. Then we could potentially start looking at a mental illness, mental disorder. So yes, there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. So back to the topic at hand, what might you need help with, right? And that's a very, again, a loaded question. When it comes to mental illness, mental health, is this something that is diagnosable or undiagnosed? Let me rephrase that. Is it diagnosed or undiagnosed? Have you gone to a mental health professional like myself, some of my colleagues that have all those fancy letters at the end of their name, and how they said, yes, definitely, you are now diagnosed with depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, if it's delusions and hallucinations, substance use disorder, right? Dependency or tolerance or withdrawal on alcohol and cocaine, methamphetamines, things of that nature. Or are we dealing with mental health issues? Things that are, again, throwing wrenches into your day. And that could be things that are happening at home, at school, heck, even things that are happening in your relationships. Let me give you an example. At home, you might have sick kiddos, right? And you haven't been sleeping well. Talk about hitting close to home. That might make you a little bit irritable, right? It might make you a little upset, might make you this, make you moody. You might snap at people, and again, not speaking from okay, maybe a little experience, that you probably wouldn't snap at before. That's more mental health, right? All it takes is potentially you going back and grabbing and taking, sleeping a little bit better, the kids getting better, and things go back to your usual setting. At work, maybe there's this deadline that is looming, right? You have a visitation by the regional manager, by the head honcho, by the owner, by this, by that. And so everybody's on edge. But as soon as that visit happens, once that report is submitted, once this is done, it calms back down. Relationships. You might have had a fight with your spouse, with your significant other, even with a friend, faculty, right? Staff. What if you go to an office and you're trying to get something done and maybe the communication is not working out? You're trying to say something, someone is understanding you differently. They're asking you to do something that you don't need to do because that's not what you're asking. And so that communication, that lack or that clash in communication is causing frustration on both ends. That could be also an effect on mental health. It throws a wrench into your daily things. So again, what might you need help with? And it's not solely on mental health or mental illness, right? This can go beyond. So before I get to that, this could be things, think of even physical. Are there some issues that are keeping you from doing things at home, at work, in relationships, even at school? Have you had chronic back pain? Have you had chronic toothache? Have you been having issues seeing? Have you been having these worries, these concerns of uh, food insecurities, right? How are you going to put food on the table for your family, for yourselves? Where are you going to spend the night? And again, this could be yourself, this could be a family or a friend. So even when these issues are affecting other people, they can be affecting you as well, right? We call that vicarious, not necessarily vicarious trauma, but it can affect you vicariously. In other words, it's not happening to you, but the fact that you know and the fact that you're aware of this is causing some issues, some anxiety, some depression. It's having a negative effect on you. And you might feel that you need to do something. And until you do something, then it's still going to fester. It's still going to be up in your mind and causing, again, that worry, that anxiety, that sensation of sadness, helplessness, hopelessness. And again, I know that that's going off the deep end, right? That's talking about extremes. But again, talking about extremes can potentially lead us down the path of mental illness. So, a former band director of mine at UTEP, Dr. Curtis Treadway, would always say, whoever had said, don't sweat the small things is an idiot. I might be taking some liberty with the words, but if you don't take care of the little things, the big things don't tend to happen. Now, is that always true? Not necessarily. There are some times where the big things just happen, right? So again, be mindful, be aware of what your body is telling you, right? If you don't feel like your usual self, that could potentially be your body saying like, whoa, 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 let's hit the pause button, let's hit the brakes. Just dropped off my brother-in-law at the airport. They're taking a trip overseas, and he was stressed and everything. And so I'm like, yo, breathe, man. Like, you're at the airport, you're getting ready to take off. It's, unless you know how to fly the plane and get you there faster, it's out of your hands. You're here, you're getting on a plane. Just breathe. Right? Easier said than done. I get it. I get it. But again, what might you need help with? This mental health, mental illness, diagnosed or undiagnosed. Um, the small stuff can develop into large stuff. Exactly. Yeah. And sorry, I was just keeping track of the chat, which I'm getting better at, believe it or not. So Janice, yes, thank you. The small stuff can develop into big stuff if not controlled. Definitely, right? And whether that control is you understanding that, hey, you know what? I'm kind of going off the deep end, or I'm exaggerating how this feels, or what the heck am I doing? Right? I need to pump the brakes. I need to come back, or like this says, I need help. That's definitely that self-awareness of, this is me, or this is my body, or this is however, whatever you want to say, telling me I need to hit the brakes. So yeah, thank you, Janice. Yeah, definitely. So again, mental health, mental illness, it could be finances, it could be relationships, it could be anything and everything in essence. So what could potentially keep us from seeking help? And so let me read some of these. And before we move on and talk about each of these separately, I want to see if any of these hits close to home, or if you guys can look at it and be like, wow, that's a great point. I never thought about that one. Yeah, no, definitely. We don't want to be using, and I think that's in essence some of the stigma associated with it, that wow, you can't control, you're not able to do that. What's wrong with you, right? But let's take a look at the list, for example. What might, whoa, sorry about that. Try to make it a little bit bigger, and it always goes awry. Come on. Oh well. Oh, tell you, I always mess this up. There you go. That's good. So what might keep you from seeking help? Fear, right? You're fearful of what you might hear. You're fearful of what could happen. You're fearful of what someone might say. You're fearful of the outcome. You might be fearful of how much it's going to cost, right? Let's be completely honest. Culture. Look, guys, we live in a heavily Hispanic population. El Paso's what, 79%, 80% Hispanic, uh, and I always think back of my when I was younger, and if you needed to go to the doctor and you would tell your family, I'm voy con el doctor, right? I'm going to a doctor. For what? ¿Para qué? They're just gonna tell you something's wrong. Oh yeah, I would hope so. Like I don't feel myself, so I would hope that they tell me what's wrong, right? But that's a notion. Why are you gonna go to a doctor? They're gonna tell you something's wrong. Well, yeah. Or why are you gonna go to the? Don't just just drink some 7 Up. Just do some baking soda with soda. Do some baking soda with maicena for upset stomachs. Do the huevo, right? The egg. Rub the egg on you. Boom, problem solved. There is some culture and some stigma and some things attached to culture that keep us from seeking help. Another thing is for employees in particular is that they do not want to be viewed as a problem or less qualified if they seek help. Yeah, we see this again. So not only are we a very heavily Hispanic population or Latino population, we have a big presence of military, right? We have Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss is the second largest, if my facts still hold true, the second largest military base in the United States. And prior to, what about 2010, 11, 12, something along those lines, um, all the mental health, all of that sort of services were done in-house. In other words, you went to go see a therapist within the military. And there's no such thing as confidentiality. Whatever you told that therapist, your commanding officer, your first sergeant, your and I apologize if I miss up the ranks. That's my apologies. But your chain of command can access that. All they gotta do is go click, 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 click. Salas, Christian, boom. All right. So they talked about this. This is a diagnosis. And in essence, it's like, are you battle ready, or do you need to soldier up? Right? Do you, in essence, just rub some dirt on it? You're good to go. And then, as part of your squad, as part of your platoon, as far as your so on and so on, do people feel comfortable being around someone that has said that they are, in essence, quote unquote, weak, that there is a weakness in them? So even that military culture can have some pushback in people seeking help. Now, since then, with TRICARE and the insurance provided by the military, they can go off base and they can seek military assistance, sorry, mental health assistance from practitioners, mental health professionals within the community that they live in. So, an officer, an enlisted officer, a corporal, anybody can seek mental health services and even physical services. I mean, with Beaumont and everything, I don't see why. But they can seek mental health assistance outside of Fort Bliss. And then confidentiality is definitely ensured. Lack of knowledge. And this can go in various ways. So the lack of knowledge could be the lack of knowledge of where to go for assistance, or who you can get assisted by, or what you can be assisted with. Taking it back to the previous slide, this could be an issue where you just might not know what could potentially not necessarily be wrong, but what are these symptoms? What is this telling you? What is your body telling you? You might not know that. And again, not everybody's a therapist, not everybody's a doctor, but we know our bodies, right? There's times where you're like, oh man, I don't feel like myself, or I feel a little off, but we don't know what that means. Some like, I'm probably just getting sick. It's just it's probably something I caught. It'll go away. Yes and no. We don't know. Time. We don't have time. I would really gripe about this to the agencies I used to work at before, because if you're open 8 to 5, think about it. What time do people work? 8 to 5. So are you going to in essence, are you going to go seek assistance and take time off of work and lose time, in other words, money, by taking time out of work to do this lab or to go to this session that you're still kind of iffy about? or are you going to keep on working to make money, to put food on the table, and to keep the lights on and keep the water running, pay for gas, all these other things, right? Where is the prioritizing? So we really advocated for being open late, staying open till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock sometimes, having the clinic opened on Saturdays so that people don't have to choose between making money or feeling better, that they really can do both. Misunderstanding, again, same. You might have a misconception or misunderstanding of what it is to be a therapist, what it is to be a doctor. Oh, I'm just going to go there and I'm only going to be seen for 5 minutes and they're just going to ask me how I feel and they're just going to give me medication. It definitely feels that way. It definitely feels that way. But again, these are professionals. These are individuals that, they got to where they are because they studied. Now, is that always the case? No. I'm not going to sit here and advocate and tell you that everybody's awesome and everybody's great. As I tell my students, I will tell you the rainbow unicorn and marshmallows and the what the heck is going on side of both things. So there could potentially be this misunderstanding, again, because of the fear. Even our fear is not letting us understand or even look beyond. Excuse me. I could even be fearful of what could happen. So I would be worried they won't care. Yeah, I was talking to my wife about how doctors and police officers and people that they see things that we probably will never see in our lifetime, right? And they see it probably in one day. That they have the darkest humor, but because that's the way that they deal with all the things that they've seen and all the things that they got to handle and manage throughout the day. So it might seem like they come off as dry, but it's them trying to keep themselves sane. Again, not everybody. There are some people that kind of just go in, all right, what's wrong? Okay, boom, here, boom. All right, next. And there's been times, even in profession as social workers and therapists, where we feel that we're in an assembly line, right? A conveyor belt. And people expect us to get the patient, try and do whatever we can in the time that they're in front of us. And there they go. Oh, next person up. Oh, there they go. Next person up. And it can't feel that way. And it's not that we don't care. It's just kind of the situation that we're put in. Stigma, again, we really talked about that already, that doctors, therapists, people that are there, even the stigma on seeking help. Think about it. Welfare, right? Assistance. It means you can't do something on your own, so we're going to help you. Even the connotation, the wording that is used for it is misleading, is stigmatized. Wow, you can't provide food for your own family, that you have to come and seek assistance? But I teach to my students, you have, and that's an institutionalized thing where it comes from the institution, be it government, be it agency, be it whatever, right? If we're gonna bail out a bank, bail out a company, we're like, oh, we're investing in this bank. Why can't we say we're investing in our people instead of, well, we're gonna provide welfare for this group, we're gonna provide assistance? No, you're in essence investing in people, right? You're investing in us. If we're good, if we're healthy, if we're sane, if we're sound of mind, and we're able to, man, the sky's the limit. So why not invest in your people? Again, but that's just stigma. Family can go back down to culture, as well as time, as well as stigma, and even misunderstanding. In essence, everything combined, right? Are you going to be able to take the time off to go and seek assistance for whatever it is that you need? Can you sit down at a computer for 10 minutes and fill out an online application for something while your kids are running around, while you have to make dinner, while you have to do this, take care of your mom, take care of your dad, go and do groceries, plus come back and cook, plus go to work and get everybody ready for bed? Probably not, right? And last but not least, what can keep us from seeking help? Us. And why? Really, because of everything that we just talked about. So we can sometimes be our worst enemy. We might try to brush off the things that are going on because we might think like, I got this, man. I'm good. I got it. Yeah, exactly. We can be our worst enemy, but we can also be our best ally, right? Total disclosure. about a year ago. Actually, yeah, about a year ago this time, um, I was recovering from surgery because for X amount of months, I was like, I'm good, I got this, I'm all right, blah, blah, blah. It got to a weekend, actually Memorial Day weekend, and I wasn't doing so hot, right? Um, and so, no, it wasn't even Memorial Day. When the heck was it? Anyways, pointless. Ended up going to the ER because I wasn't feeling like myself, but I hadn't been feeling like myself for like 4 months. But I had that mentality of like, I got this. I'm strong. I'm big. Ugh, I got it. Ugh. I didn't. I didn't get it. Well, I got it all right. I got smacked. I ended up having a diagnosis of cancer. I'll spare all the details. I ended up going into surgery that same day, got everything taken out. Not everything, the cancer taken out. I still got stuff inside, I swear. uh, Ended up doing a round of chemo. That knocked me on my butt, man. If anyone going through chemo, my heart goes out to you. I did one round as a preventive measure, and dang, man, I've never felt so tired in my life. But that was my body had been telling me like, hey, there's something wrong. We need to do this. We need to get this, and we need to get help. And I'm like, nah, man, I got this. We're good. All right, I got it. I've never been to the hospital. Strong like bull, right? No, 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 not strong like bull. I got smashed like an egg. Uh, Anywho, we can be our worst critic, but we can also be our best ally. When it comes down to medical stuff, man, they tell me, hey, you got this. What do we need to do? Get it done, right? My decision is boom, 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 clear cut. I am much more receptive and much more aware of my kind of my baseline of, okay, what is my typical and where am I right now? I don't feel that hot. I don't feel that good. I should seek help. I should again, I understand that it's not as easy to seek help again for financial time and everything that we just talked about, all these issues. So um, I understand that there's all these things that can prevent people from seeking help or even receiving help. Oops, sorry. There we go. So be mindful of that. And even when we're sitting on the opposite side of the table and telling people like, why aren't you going? What's wrong with you? Come on. It, it's not that simple, right? So don't get frustrated. Put yourself in their shoes. Understand that there are so many variables that could potentially be keeping somebody. If you're trying to assist a friend, if you're trying to assist a family member, heck, even yourself, just kind of turn the mirror inwards and be like, wow, okay, I need to kind of, listen to my own words. Definitely. But all right, now let's get to the meat and potatoes of what kind of help is available out there. And again, it's an extensive list that is possible, but let's try and at least direct you to where and how you can get assistance. So for starters, it really depends on what it is that you need, right? So if it takes you sitting down and being like, all right, what the heck is going on? And writing stuff down and putting thought to paper and just doing a list of like, man, what is going on with me right now? What is going on? What's happening? What can I do? Like, what is it that what needs to happen? If you need help at school and it's issues with academics, right? You might be falling behind at school because of work, because of things at home. There are things that the counselors can do, and this is not only in mental health. Let me make sure. Yep. But the counselors can help you with understanding your degree plan, help you understand what the sequence of classes is, help you understand what the best path for you is for transferring to achieving the goal that you want to achieve. I had the opportunity of speaking to the Office of Student Success this past August, and one of the things that they offer is tutoring, right? Peer support specialists and such. Great thing that is had at EPCC, and I'm sure that our lovely moderators can tell you, probably not as used as they would like. Yeah, because maybe people don't know it exists, don't know where it is. How many of you might get an email and be like, okay, delete, 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 delete. Ooh, that one's interesting. Free what? Oh yeah, let me log it. right? Read some of these emails sometimes, just even if it's just glance. Okay, poof. Again, the only reason I tell you is because I do it too. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Heck, one of my coworkers told me like, "Hey, did you send this?" I'm like, "What? Send what? Did you send it to this?" Oh, I thought I only had to sign it. No, if you read further down the email, it tells you you need to send it to so and so. Oh, whoops. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe I shouldn't have just deleted after signed and returned. Sweet, done. So, faculty, guys, we're not as mean as we might look. I think so. I would hope so. Um, I tell my students, if I don't know about it, there's no issue, right? If something is turned in late, in my mind, it's like they turned it in late. They missed the deadline. Oh well. But if someone comes to me and said like, Mr. Salas, you know what? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Look, I had to pull three double shifts the past couple of days. I'm almost done with this. I'm all right. Yeah, up till tomorrow. Can you turn it in by tomorrow? You got it. Excellent. Now, is every faculty member going to extend deadlines and things like that? I don't. I would want to say yes, but the likelihood is that not everybody might do so. But you'd be surprised how just talking to us, talking to your faculty, can help you decrease the tension, decrease the stress that you guys might have and to bring to the classroom, or even put on yourselves. So again, communication, communication, communication. What about financial, right? There might be some issues where you might not be able to pay for college. You might be having issues paying for rent. You might be having problems paying for bills, right? Where you live at. Guess what? There's assistance for all three of those. Obviously, for school, there's financial aid, the Office of Financial Aid, scholarships, grants, so on and so forth. There's even places where you can work on campus, make a little extra money, and use that to pay for rent, pay for this, pay for your books, pay for your tuition and such. For rent, there's rent help. It's this program through the El Paso County that helps people pay for their rent, especially during COVID. And once the oh my goodness, I forgot the name of it, but when the government in essence said, you can't expect people that aren't working right now to pay for rent, or to even increase the amount that is owed to you as renters. You have to set it at a certain amount. Well, as we start going away from that, uh, counties, cities around the nation started to implement assistance programs, investment programs. Let me rephrase and use my own verbiage, uh, to help people like us, like you, have a home, have a roof over your head, have walls, have a floor, have that security and that safety of that you can go somewhere and sleep comfortably and safe at night. If you have issues with paying your bills, Project Amistad has, I think it's called Amistad Cares, and they can help you pay for your bills, electricity, water, and so on. And I believe it can be up towards 4 months, 6 months. I don't recall the exact details, but these are all things that are out there, but people might not know. Now, there's commercials out there, but again, how are you going to watch something if you don't have electricity to watch a TV? Right. Um, so these are things that we got to be mindful of, and things that maybe us as a community college need to make more aware of to our students. And I'm using that as a little kind of a transition point to our next slide here in a little bit. Emotional, right? You're having some issues, again, not necessarily mental illness, but potentially mental health issues. Our counselors, guidance counselors, or counselors at EPCC, though they assist individuals with schedules and classes and things like that, the majority of our counselors are actual counselors. They have LPCs, or our licensed professional counselors, or our LMSWs, licensed master social workers, or beyond. And so they have the capacity of assisting people with emotional issues, with social issues, things of that nature that, again, fall under the auspices of mental health, mental illness. However, because of the job description, they are only able to do about 3 crisis intervention sessions. After that, or if they see that this is something that he needs to go beyond the 3 sessions, excuse me, they would then refer you out to an agency outside in the community, outside in El Paso, be it Family Services El Paso, Child Guidance Center, things of that nature. Yes, ma'am, they are, as professionals, as mental health professionals. Um, we are all mandated reporters in the state of Texas. So let me add to that. What that means for those of you that might not know what a mandated reporter is that if anything, for example, an individual discloses child abuse, elder abuse, or wanting to hurt themselves or hurt others, by law, we, and even as teachers, even as faculty, and I believe that also falls on staff as well, if I'm correct. Uh, you have the duty, you are mandated to report that to the authorities. Yep, there you go, full-time staff as well. So you are mandated by the state, by law, to report that to the authorities. Again, if we can never hold people in our office, so if someone tells us they're going to go kill somebody, they're going to go hurt themselves, that this, we can't hold them, but we definitely can call police and let them know what is potentially going to happen. If there's any reports of child abuse, we have to report that to the Department of Family and Protective Services, basically CPS, or Child Protective Services. um, However, there is a confidentiality clause. So those are the limits to confidentiality, right? But everything else, whatever you say, it's like Vegas, right? Whatever happens stays there. If you're telling us, you as again to a counselor, and you say this, I've been feeling depressed. I know I've been having thoughts of this and this and this, but I haven't acted. It's just I know I can't do this. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Da, 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 da. This class is getting too much. The counselor's not going to go and be like, "Yo, Silas, you know what you're causing this student? You know what you're doing to this student?" Da, da. No, that would be, again, breaking confidentiality, because now I know that somebody went to the counselor, told them that I'm a horrible teacher, doing this, doing that. Da, da, da. That's a breach of confidentiality. So we don't do that. But no, thank you, Patricia, for bringing that up. Faculty, guys, as and let me be careful with my wording here. As horrible as it might sound, we probably see you more than sometimes you probably see your family, right? In some cases, depending on how many classes you have with us, depending on what your work schedule, what your school schedule, your schedule, your family schedule is, we sometimes might see you more than you see your families. We build really good relationships with our students, right? Good rapport. We know where they work. We know what might be triggering them. We know what the issues might be. And the same, you guys get to know us as well. So just like I mentioned above, we're here to help. It's not just let me divulge and let me teach you this content matter and this subject. No, we did a survey. The mental health committee did a survey on faculty regarding the resources and how comfortable they felt in. Let me rephrase that. Not only the resources, if they're comfortable directing students to resources around campus in the community, but also have they been approached by students in the past, uh, letting them know of potential mental health or mental illness issues that they were facing. And the results were outstanding, that we had about 60-70% of faculty that have been approached by students saying, like, I can't handle this, I'm not doing well, this and this, so on and so forth. And so we're taking all that information and using it to better ourselves. You're saying, like, well, what does that mean? Well, putting things in place like the food pantry, the Tejano food pantry, right? That's available at, whoop, that was way too small. Making it available at each campus. Donations are accepted, and it's open to faculty, staff, students, anyone. Um, During the pandemic, obviously we had a lot, the El Paso fighting hunger. Oh, I forgot the name of the other big pantry. Anywho, but you saw a lot of these places where the community said, you know what? This is a basic necessity. How are people going to be able to function at work, at school, do this, do that, without food in their stomach? That makes no sense. So let's make that accessible. Let's help our community. So guess what? Dun, 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 help is on the way. And that, just in case, I will find any possible way to show off my little papitos, my little baby bear. So, um, ah, anyways, so what I mean by this is that, see, look at that. Dun, dun, dun. I would be the Deadpool because I have a very foul mouth, but you didn't hear that from me. At least not in the sessions or the presentations. I limit myself. Anyway, EPCC, led by the Mental Health Committee and by Vice President Mitchell, Paula Mitchell, we have come together as a task force, and we are working on opening a mental health social service center. We don't have a name for it yet, but it's coming up and it's getting worked on as we speak. In essence, we will be working on providing mental health services at each campus. Um, we will have deans from each campus have already identified locations where we can hold and host this center, this office, whatever it gets called. We are working on hiring, at least at first, staff at Valle Verde, and then that individual or those people might potentially be going from campus to campus. But our big vision is to have one of these centers at each of our 5 campuses, from Trans Mountain to Rio Grande, Valle Verde, Paso del Norte, or sorry, Mission del Paso, I was thinking different, and Northwest. What they would do is we would have mental health professionals, LMSWs, LCSWs, LPC, whatever the alphabet soup at the end of their names might be, to provide assistance, help people through these hardships, right? Oh man, I can't shake this and this is going on, blah, blah. Let's talk about it, right? Have an ear, have a shoulder to listen to and to cry to, and just let it out. We also want to have a place, so that's the mental health side of it. The social services side of things is everything that we talked about that is not mental health. You need a doctor, right? You said your ankle hurts and all this. Excuse me, where can you go? Actually, did you know that Rio Grande has the Rio Grande Health Clinic, or Rio Grande Border Health Clinic, that is open to not only students but community members? And so you can have access to occupational therapy, to primary care, well, not necessarily primary care, but assistance with a physician or by a physician, dental hygienist, dental work. Oh, I forgot the others, but it's in essence, it's a one-stop shop for health, for physical health. And it's at Rio Grande, the Rio Grande Clinic or the Rio Grande campus. All you got to do is make an appointment and boom, you got services right there as students. You're paying it for intuition. Take use of it. So anyways, that's just one of the things that's available to you all. This would take care of the mental health and the social services. You need help paying for rent. Boom, let me connect you to this person, this agency, that place. I don't have food to put on the table. Boom, let's connect you with a food pantry here on campus and with the one that's near your side of town. I don't know how to sign up for CHIP for my kiddos. Here, let's connect you, or we got the paperwork here. Let's help you fill it out. We got some computers. Let's do that here. We want this to be a one-stop shop for students, so that you don't have to go, and we don't have to be like, oh, here's a piece of paper. Go figure it out yourself. No. From personal experience, having been being a mental health professional, if one of my patients came and said, oh, you see them limping, I'm like, what's wrong with your leg? Oh, it's because I think I twisted my leg and I fell and I hit this, and like, oh, you got to go to the doctor, dude. Come on. Look, it's just right across the street. And it was. Our medical clinic was right across the street. I could see the front desk from my office. 99.99999% of the time, that person would not go, even if it's right there. But if I called and be like, yo, hey, this is Chris from across the street. I got a patient. Here they are. They want to see the doctor. Can you schedule them? Sure. Here we go. They're ready. Excellent. All right. You got an appointment. You going? Yes, sir. All right. Vámonos. Sáquese. It's much easier to take care of things in-house, to do whatever we can to make sure that you are being taken care of in all aspects. So that is something that we're working on. And it's not let's see when it happens. No, this is going to happen. We have full support from Dr. Serrata on down. So this is something that hopefully will open by next semester, if not earlier. We are working to hiring staff for this. And it will also be kind of an internship site for students that are doing work in social work and child development and counseling and in different areas to get experience. So if you're in any of those areas, keep an ear out. This might be a place you might be interested in. All right. Last but not least, what about some of the stuff around town? Well, it goes back to say, whoops, I don't know what I did. Sorry. We go back to what is it that you need assistance with? What is it that you're looking for? Right? Know what you are looking for. So this goes back to my first comment that I said, do you know what it is that you need help with? If you need to write it down, if you need to like look at it on paper, look at it in ink and pen or type it out, do so. You know yourself better than anybody else. You know what is going to help you visualize, see things. So what is it that you do? Well, by doing that, maybe you go ask a faculty member, you go ask someone at the college, you go ask, good old Google, where can I find help with rent? Or I need help with my rent. I need help with my bills. Where's a doctor nearby? Where's a doctor as we go up here? Da, 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 da. Where's it? Well, let's just say the services, right? There are agencies, believe it or not, that provide services at a much lower rate because they are community based, because they might be done by students. Now, some people are like, I don't trust myself being with students. I did it myself as a social work student for my master's. I did therapy at a local mental health clinic under the supervision of someone with a license much higher than mine. And so you're not given free reins as a student, like, go forth and conquer, little ones, go, be merry. No, we're on a very tight leash of like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What's going on? So don't think that because you're being seen by a student that you're in danger. There's someone that's watching and making sure that they are doing and sometimes they're even followed by the doctor. They're followed by the person that's supervised to make sure that they did their due process. And in instances, going and being seen by a student can cost you a huge fraction of what it would cost to go see a doctor. Case in point, for therapy, the first time I found out how much people would pay to see me, holy crap, man, I even said, wow, I couldn't afford me. But as a student intern, you would see people that have to do like a $5 copay. If you're working for a nonprofit, they might do a $5 copay. They might do $10, $15, depending on their income. Some people, it was covered by certain grants or certain programs, certain federal programs, and they didn't pay anything. So these are services that are out there. Now, because we are short-staffed and because some of these services are very few, it might take a while to see somebody. Again, you will get the awesome, greatest part of it, and you'll also get the not so great part of it for me. You might have to wait about a month, 2 months, sometimes even 3 months to see somebody. Is it a pain in the royal booty? Definitely. But at least you're getting to see somebody. Will social work students do internships in the new upcoming EPCC? Yep, definitely. We will have students that are potentially shadowing the mental health professional or even working in the social service side, connecting people or students with the local agencies and even making connections with local agencies to let them know, hey, we are here. Come, let us know what you're doing so we can pass that information on to our students. So yes, definitely we'll have social work interns there. And not only from EPCC, we're looking to open this up to UTEP and NMSU students as well. So if any of you guys are looking at transferring to UTEP and NMSU, this again could also be potentially a place for you to continue your education. Be aware of scams. Unfortunately, when somebody needs help, there's people out there that think, how can I make money out of this? So avoid doing and falling to these scams by checking up, asking others, hey, have you guys heard of this? Ask reputable people, ask people that are in the know. I've had students that come up to me like, oh, Salas, I was doing this guardianship thing with my family and I don't understand. And the attorney's telling me this. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right. Here, come to my office. Go to the office, do a phone call. Hey, judge, how's it going? Hey, can you tell me if this is correct? No, that's not at all. Yeah, that's what I thought. You'd be surprised, again, not to name drop and like, oh, damn, you guys know everybody. No. But you might not be aware of the things and the people that we might know and the things and other resources that we as faculty, because we are in the field and we've been in the field for X amount of years, or just connections. Heck, I've met people from other fields and other areas that I still talk to them like, hey, you know what? Can I get someone from speech to come and tell my students how to speak to patients or how to give a report in a professional manner? Hey, can you get someone from this and from different disciplines? Definitely. So ask. But this again goes back to, why are we not asking? Why are we not checking up on these things? Again, the fear of what we might find out. We don't want to be seen as dumb or stupid. And again, last but not least, some of the things that are out there, for example, the food pantries. You got the El Paso Fighting Hunger, rent assistance, El Paso renthelp.com. Bill assistance. This is done through Project Amistad and Amistad Cares. Mental health services. This one's the one that, you have clinics in El Paso that are solely for kiddos, right? That all they do is they work with children. There's some that work with elderly in the nursing homes. There's home health providers. We have 3 or 4 different mental health clinics or hospitals here in El Paso, from Rio Vista up on Trans Mountain, El Paso Behavioral Health, what used to be UBH, the blue building up here by Cliff, El Paso Psychiatric Center, not EPCC, but EPPC. That's next to UMC. Haha. That always gets a laugh in my classes. I guess you gotta, no. Anyways, and thank you. I appreciate the the mercy laugh. Just kidding. And the last one is Peak Behavioral, but that was in Santa Teresa. That one doesn't really count. But think about it. For a city, a county that's almost at 1 million people, we only got 3 mental health hospitals. Excuse me. So are we underserved? Definitely. So you better believe that we're making it our mission to make sure that we get more resources out here for you guys, not only students, but our community. And so with that, any questions, comments, concerns you guys might ask or might have, sorry. And again, guys, I really apologize. It's such a broad topic. I know I just barely hit the tip of the iceberg on this. We could potentially do one on each of these subjects. I know we were hoping that we could have a session just solely on introducing and the grand opening of the mental health social services place, but again, things haven't fallen through the way we wanted to, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Any questions, comments, concerns? Sorry, I'll shut up for sure this time. All right. Well, hearing none, and again, if at any point in time, like I tell my students, it's like going to the doctor's office, right? You're like, okay, I'm good. I'm hungry. I want to go, or I've been sitting down for a while. I need to go to the restroom. And later you're like, oh crap, I forgot about this. Here's my contact information. Again, my little baby Yoda. I'm over at Valle Verde, room A1102. My office number 2469 and csala69 at epcc.edu. Oh, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Much appreciated for sharing my email. Any questions, any issues, anything that maybe I can potentially direct you in the right or point you in the right direction? By all means, I never hesitate to receive any questions. And if I don't know, I will point you in the right direction or find out for you. I dislike not knowing. So if I don't know, you better believe I'm going to figure it out.
Thank you, Mr. Salas. Is there any questions for Mr. Salas? We'll give you another second in case y'all have a question. All right. Well, if not, I would like to thank everyone for being here today and spending your Friday with us. Thank you, Mr. Salas, for once again presenting for us. You always do such a good job. I really do enjoy your sessions.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'd like to invite everyone to next week's session, which is also going to be hosted by the EPCC Mental Health Committee. The flyer's not loading for me. Is it loading for you? Let's see. Let me try to
Yep.
reshare.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
it's
see it.
loaded.
Yep.
Oh, only I can't see it. Okay. All right. I'll be doing it off of memory here.
There you go.
So we're going to be having the EPCC Mental Health Committee back again. It'll be self-care. And we're going to have two wonderful committee members presenting that for us. And then we'll also be having Happy Math Hour at 11 a.m. on that Friday as well. So I'd like to thank you all for coming today, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Thank you all. And again, thank you guys